Hi guys, I welcome you to Remedial One YouTube channel. Today we are going to look at very special quadratic equation. Quadratic is really huge and have a lot of questions coming from quadratic and all that. So today we are going to drop all the secrets, the concepts, and the skills that you need to do as you're getting into your Wassce final exams. This is multiple choice, but the idea and the concept behind it can also be applied when it comes to the theory side. Please go ahead, subscribe and stay with me. If the sum of the roots of the equation into bracket x minus p times into bracket 2x plus 1 equals to 0 is 1. So here they are telling you that when you get your solution or the zeros, that's the same as the roots. When you add it up, you have to get 1. We have been given the factored form. So this is a factored form. So you have to be able to set it up. So two numbers are multiplying giving 0. It means that the first one is equals to 0 or the second one is equals to 0 or both of them is equals to 0. So when we set it up that way, we can able to solve for the solution. So this implies that x minus p must be equals to 0. If that is the case, then we will take the p to the other side and that will become positive. Or implies that 2x plus 1 is equals to 0. So we will take the 1 to the other side, we get negative 1, and we divide both sides by 2. And here means x is equals to negative half. So these are the solutions, and this one they are saying that when they add up, you have to give you 1. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we can able to find our p. So that means p plus negative half must be equals to 1. Basically, you're taking this one to this side. And here, you got to be careful. There is addition here, and inside the bracket, there is negative. But remember, if there is no number, assume it's 1. Don't be confused with this. Positive 1 times a negative half is just going to be negative half is equals to. And if that is the case, this implies that p, we take the negative half over there, it's going to be 1 plus half. Just going to be 3 on 2. Okay, so even you look at it and then you realize that they didn't leave it this way. So it's just they write it because this is improper fraction. And that give you one whole number, 1 over 2. That's a final answer. You have to know your perfect square. So this second question call for perfect square. Can able to use completing square idea to solve this question. Let's use that idea first. I'm going to use 2 methods to solve this one. So when you're completing the squares, the standard equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. When you're completing the squares, what you do is that you take your b and you divide it by 2 and you square it and you add it on both sides, and that addition is the m here that they are looking for. So if we can use this formula here, we can get an answer. So let's consider that, and then we will look at another method. So we will take our b. Our b is this negative 3 on 4. So negative 3 on 4. We will divide it by 2 again. Okay, so every number is over 1. So here we have a whole number divided. We have a fraction divided by a whole number, which we have divided it by 1, so that you can get an idea. And we keep the top fraction and we turn the division, the second division here become multiplication, and then we flip that one. So this implies that we will get negative 3 on 4 times 1 on 2, and that becomes negative 3 over 8. And now the final stage, we square it this way. We square it, and when we square it, we get each of them is going to be squared. So don't go and square only the 3 and say negative 9, but even you're lucky that one wasn't over there, but sometimes they can bring it. So here you're squaring this, or squared over 8 squared, and that comes 9 over 64. So that's one way. Another way that we could also do is using the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac. That is a discriminant, and that have to be equals to 0. If that is the case, that will help us to find our m. So our b, already we got our b to be negative 3 on 4 all squared. And then our a, go back to the question to see your a. Your a is just 1. There's no number, so it's 1. And our c is going to be positive m. So here is 1. This is m. And this equals to 0. So here we get the same thing that we did over here. Is going to be negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9. 4 times 4, which is 16. Minus 4m is equals to 0. So we are solving. Tell you guys, if you want, you can take this one over there so that there will be no negative, and then your life will be easier. But if that's going to be confusing, you can do it other way around. So here we get 9 divided by 16 is equals to 4m. We are looking for m. It's being multiplied, so we divide both sides by 4. So here 4. This implies that we will get, is going to be another keep. We keep this 1 and we flip this one. Every number is over 1. Okay, so it's just going to be 9 and 16 times 1 over 4 is equals to m. That brings us back into the same answer as 9 over 64 is equals to, whichever one that clicks to you, you use that. Let's look at another one. So this one, it kind of is a reverse, opposite way of the other one. Okay. So remember, the standard is a x squared plus b x plus c equals to 0. Remember, all these questions are past questions. Okay. Now, when we how to drive forward, have to be able to reverse back, and that is what is happening over here. So we can use that idea to solve this one if we want, or we can also use the other method to do that. So here they have already find the number that we add on both sides. So it was k over 2. You see, remember it's b over 2, and then we square it, and that gave us 16 over 9. So if we solve this, we can able to find the k that they are looking for. That's one method. Or if there is a case, we get k squared over 4 is equals to 16 over 9. We want to solve for k, so we will send this one over here. It's divided. When it comes here, it's going to be multiplied. You also have to be very good with your inverse operation. Okay, this goes away with that, and we got k squared is equals to 64 on 9. Okay, and now here we want to solve for k, so we will take square root here, and we'll repeat the same thing here. And when we do that, we will get square root of 64 is 8, and square root of 9 is 3. It's plus or minus that, but here we will realize that is only the positive that came. So that's the answer. The another way that we could also use is the same formula that we did use from the other side. So you use b squared minus 4ac is equals to 0. And then you put in the value. So here the b is k. So k squared minus 4. A is 1. The c is the number given 16 on 9. and is equals to 0, and that will bring you back to what we did from the first method. So continue on, and then you see that you get the same answer. Okay, so here they want us to solve the equation. So here somebody will say, is it said equation, is it radical equation, or what? You're trying to solve for x. You see x here. So what you could do, there is a square root. Always apply the inverse operation. So the opposite of a square root is going to be a square. So we are going to square both sides. So you square here and you square here. And when you square here, this and this goes away, giving you 2x plus 3. And that tells us that it's going to be a quadratic. And when it's a quadratic, the standard is ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. So we have to bring everything to one side. So we will get x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. And you have already done this. I know you guys are expert when it comes to this one. Here you take your constant, which is 3 or negative 3. You look for numbers that multiply to give you 3. It's just going to be 1 and 3. And then you have to manipulate it in such a way that when you add, you have to get this. Since it's negative, one of the numbers have to be negative. And if we put the negative here, we add this, we will get negative 2. So you see that this is the factors. Be careful, this is the factors, okay? So here, as we have been doing, and it's going to be x squared plus x minus 3x plus that 3 equals to 0. You group it and then you solve for your zeros. But here, this is the factors. And this one being the multiple choice, let me show you the secret. The opposites of factors give us the solution. So opposite of positive 1 is going to be negative 1, and opposite of negative 3 is going to be positive. So the answer is going to be this. But here you can continue to do it. You factor it out. You got x plus 1. You factor it out here, negative 3, and you get x plus 1. You take the bracket and you take the coefficient, and then you set it up. Then you realize that x is equals to negative 1, and another one, x is equals to positive 3. When you set it up, equals to 0. So, okay. Now let's look at this one. They want us to find the value k. So what could we do? So here, the idea of completing the squares also comes in for you to figure it out. And that's good. But let's use another method here, because now you know how to use the completing squares to do all that. I'm going to write x squared plus x is equals to, we are going to expand this. So it's going to be x plus 2 is repeated, and then plus your k. Multiply it out is x plus 2, then 2, x plus 2. Teaching you everything that you need to know in order for you to be successful in your Wassce. So here you multiply it out, you get x squared plus 2x plus another 2x, then plus 4, and then plus k. You combine like terms. So here you get x squared plus x equals to x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus k. So here you see that most of the stuff look the same except the 4 and the k. So let's bring the k to this side so that they will match up equally, okay? So if we bring the k to this side, it's going to be minus k, and here it's going to be x squared plus 4x 4. And realize that everything match up as I said, except this and that. So we can say implies that k must be equals to 4. We were supposed to find the value of k, not negative k. So we divide both sides by negative 1, and that will give us k to be negative 4. That's that. Okay. So you can also try the completing square to see if you get that one right. Now let's look at the last question for this video. So here we have been given the roots. So don't be confused. I don't know if teachers have been telling you it's zeros, but another name for roots is the same as the zeros. It's the same as the x-intercepts. It's the same as the solution. It's the same as the answer. Or the answers, okay? So here we have been given the zeros. That means x is equals to -1 and x is equals to -3, 2. Now, can we bring it back to the factored form? Yes. So if you want to bring it to the factored form, so this implies that x, you bring it over here, plus 1 must be equals to 0. And here, x plus 3 on 2 is equals to 0. And even here, we could do more if we want. I don't want you to be confused, but if we want, we could do more. We could have said that here is just going to be 2x plus 3 is equals to 0. Maybe we should have done that. Okay. So here, let's put that in there. Distribute. So we take x, we multiply by 2x plus 3. We take the 1, which is plus 1 times 2x plus 3 equals to 0. Multiply, we get 2x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 3 equals to 0. We combine like terms. So we see that the middle is like terms. So we got 2x squared plus 5x plus 3 equals to 0. And that's a D. I thank you very much for sticking with me all the way to the end. Please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so, and see you in the next video. Be blessed.